Sarah Cole came down from her Rolls-Royce to be greeted by her employee Jack Wilder.
"Welcome, Ma," Jack greeted. "You just coming to work, it wasn't a question." Sarah already knew how late to work Jack is always in the company. Even after so many warning from the PR department and even she personally. She couldn't bring herself to fire him. Everyone knows her and fears her as the iron boss. Her work being done must be made perfect. Jack laughed, warily scratching his back of his head. She wasn't wrong, he was just about entering the company when she arrived. "I'm sorry, Ma, it won't happen again," he felt guilty. He knew coming late was against the rules and he has been going against it. "You are not sorry, because this mistake will repeat itself again," Sarah stared coldly at Jack. "This would be your last warning. Come late next time and don't bother entering this company." Sarah walked towards the company. Jack watches as her body disappear from his view, but not her voice. "Will you come get my coffee?" "Ah, right, Ma, I'm on my way." Jack hurriedly went towards the company. Few minutes later, Jack held a small jug of coffee as he headed towards his boss' office. Not bothering to knock, he went in to see her in the middle of a call. "You don't tell me that, Jason. You gave them the right to stop the project." Sarah spoke through the phone. Jack stood with her, although he had no right to remain there, but he chose to remain until he was able to roughly understand the content of the matter. A new project the company was handling was being on hold by some locals, and no matter what they refused to budge in, even the police seemed to be on their side, because it was going against their interest in the community they were. Jack left the office and headed to his office, where he brought out his phone and placed a call. The call answered on the first ring. "Hello, boss. Ride over to Destin Town and clear the locals so the project can continue. Remember, no one must be hurt," Jack ordered. For the first time that day, his innocent smile disappeared, replaced by a serious and emotionless face. "Yes, boss," the man on the other side answered respectfully, before ending the call. After the call, Jack smiled innocently, unknown to everyone. Jack Wilder was the mysterious Mafia lord, who ruled in the dark. His name has been a legend in everyone's ear. Everyone had hoped on seeing him, even for Sarah, who had on multiple occasions sent letters of invitation. Although he was being known as a billionaire Mafia lord, most of his business he did were all legal. But no one knew why he decided to work, when he already has the whole world in his palm. 3 minutes later, he received a call from Sarah asking him to come over. Within seconds he was there, and Sarah, who didn't even look at him, dropped a file for him to go through and report back. As Jack was about leaving the office, a phone rang which belongs to Sarah. The caller told her that the mass of locals were evicted from the scene, by some locals' thugs. Even the police went in to help evacuate the locals. Feeling shocked, Sarah asked if she knew who was behind helping them. The caller responded no, but he would try and find out. Jack smiles calmly as he leaves Sarah's office. He wasn't concerned whether Sarah would find out or not. That night, Sarah stood in her office, watching the cars moving back and forth. For some reason, she couldn't settle her heart. Someone jumping straight to save her really got her attention. Who was behind this? Her mind wandering around, as she casually sees Jack walking into his old car. Her eyes lingered on him until her phone rang. Without looking, she answered the call. In her contact, no one apart from her family, and a few have access to her contact. Sarah found out that the man behind everything was the name Big Mouse. Hearing the name caused Sarah's heart to skip. Jack didn't drive straight to his home, but to one of the biggest skyscrapers in the city. Arriving there, the security team immediately allowed him access after seeing the car. Several men in black stood in a straight line, as they immediately opened the door for him to walk down. Every single man bowed respectfully at the figure that came out. Now Jack wasn't wearing his usual calm smile, but that of an expressionless face. Jack walked in the building to be greeted by his personal assistant, Greg. Greg adjusted his medical eyeglass as he bowed 180 degrees to Jack. Jack hummed a reply as he walked straight inside the building. Once inside, the place was quite quiet as staff had closed for the day. No one knew he was the boss of this company. Not even the staff knew. Only a few trusted people. Greg updated Jack on the company matters as they walked towards Jack's office. Once inside, Greg asked if he should call in the shareholders to continue the meeting. They left unfinished. Jack, remembering what Sarah warned him that day, refused with a sly smile, mentioning something about being early to work the next day. With that, he stood up and left the office as Greg followed him. Once inside the car, Greg drove the car, while Jack closed his eyes. The work Sarah put on him was quite heavy and that left him sleepy. Jack's phone rang the first ring, making Jack awake. He checked his phone before answering. Jack was updated about Sarah already finding out about the man who helped her. Although Jack wasn't affected. But what happened next made Jack become instantly serious, as he made Greg to turn back. 30 minutes later, Greg drove Jack to an old mechanic shop on the outskirts of the city. From the outside, the place looked like an ordinary workshop. A few damaged cars were parked outside, while the sound of tools could be heard from inside. Greg stopped the car. Jack stepped out. Almost immediately, a young man with tattoos covering part of his neck and arms walked toward him. He stopped a few feet away and bowed respectfully. "Boss." Jack looked at him calmly. "Where are they?" "They're inside. We have them detained." The young man straightened up. "Do you want me to take you to them?" Jack nodded. "Lead the way." The young man's name was Asher. He led Jack through the mechanic shop and toward a hidden section at the back. The moment Jack entered, several men stopped what they were doing. Some had tattoos covering their faces. Others had scars running across their cheeks and eyebrows. They were the kind of men that most people would avoid meeting in a dark alley. But the moment they saw Jack, their expressions changed. Every one of them lowered their heads. Big Mouse. Jack walked past them without saying a word. To the outside world, Big Mouse was nothing more than a name. A mysterious Mafia lord whose identity nobody had been able to uncover. But the men standing in that room knew the truth. Big Mouse was Jack Wilder. And Jack had not always lived in this city. Years ago, he had ruled an entire criminal empire in another country. Everything there had been within his reach. Money, power, information, people. Nothing happened without his knowledge. Until someone he trusted betrayed him. The betrayal didn't just cost Jack his empire. It cost him someone he loved. His brother. They weren't related by blood, but they had grown up together. They had shared everything from childhood, and Jack had trusted him more than anyone else. Then one night, his trusted man turned against them. His brother was killed. Jack survived. And the traitor escaped. For years, Jack searched for him. Eventually, he discovered that the man had fled to this city and found protection under one of the most dangerous mafia leaders in the area. The Scorpion Gang. Jack could have revealed himself and taken the entire city by force. But he didn't. There was a reason. He discovered that the Cole family had an unexpected connection to the Scorpion Gang. The connection wasn't intentional, and the Cole family didn't even know the full extent of it. So Jack made a decision. He would hide his identity. He would work with the Cole family. He would become just another employee. A harmless employee nobody would suspect. And while everyone underestimated Jack Wilder, he quietly searched for the Scorpion Gang and the man responsible for his brother's death. 4 years, nothing. Until tonight. Jack stopped walking. His eyes landed on a man sitting on a chair in the middle of the room. The man's hands were tied behind his back. A black blindfold covered his eyes. Several men stood around him. Jack stared at him. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. He knew that face. Even after all these years, he could never forget it. This was the man who once stood beside him. The man who had sworn loyalty to him. The man Jack once trusted with his life. And the same man who had betrayed him. The same man whose actions had led to his brother's death. Asher watched Jack carefully. He had never seen Big Mouse this quiet. Jack slowly walked toward the captured man. The room became completely silent. The man under the blindfold shifted slightly, as if sensing someone's presence. Jack stopped directly in front of him. His expression remained cold. But deep inside, years of anger were beginning to surface. He had finally found him. The man responsible for taking his brother away. Jack looked at Asher. "Untie him." Asher immediately nodded. "Yes, boss." One of the men stepped forward and reached for the ropes. Jack continued staring at the blindfolded man. After all these years, his revenge was finally within reach.